everyone, it's Kim, and welcome back to Bookmarks and Breadsticks. Welcome back to Bookmarks and Breadsticks. If you're new to my channel, welcome to the foodie corner of the bookish universe. I specialize in food writing, which is a subject/topic in the world of nonfiction. So if you're new to my channel, I am predominantly a nonfiction reader, but I do dabble. I'd say the split is about 70-30, reading fiction books with food at the center. Today, I thought I'd bring you kind of a mix of channel updates and also what I'm reading this week or what I just finished reading. So first, for channel updates, I had to tell you guys something super cool that's just been mulling around in the back of my head because I wasn't quite sure how to explain it. But I actually just went through the process of interviewing to be on a food entrepreneurship startup TV show. I don't know yet if I've gotten picked. So before anyone gets too excited, I find out if I go selected the first week of March is what they said tentatively. So let me back up. I was contacted by a casting producer's assistant or associate. And she reached out to me and said, I think you and your business, which is Read It and Eat, would be amazing for this show. It is a food startup competition that's kind of being pitched as a mix of The Apprentice meets Shark Tank, but with a feel-good vibe. This woman said, hey, if you're interested, fill in an application. So first I was like, who are you and how did you find me? Because I love Read It and Eat and I'm very proud of my small business, but I'm a small business out of Buffalo, New York with less than 1,000 subscribers. So I was just kind of like, how did you find me? And then I looked her up just to make sure she was real. And I found her on IMDb, which is a database for the film industry for talent, people who work in the industry. And she was real. So I filled in the application on a Friday night and then had to actually redo it because it didn't have a save button. So about halfway through this 100 question questionnaire, it crashed and I had to do it again. But then I hit submit, I let her know, and she said, great, I will, and like within a half hour of like telling her I had finished applying, she said, great, I will tell my team. I thought, okay, probably never gonna hear from her again. 3 days go by, 4 days go by, and it's Tuesday, and I get a call from an unknown number, which I'm a millennial, and I'm not going to answer my phone for unknown numbers. Sorry, it's the truth. Usually I'll listen to a voicemail and I'll call you back if you're not a spam bot. And I get a phone call and a voicemail, then a text message from this other casting producer on the team who said, hey, I got your application from my coworker. I'm purposely not using names. So the first woman, we'll call her Jill. Jill's boss has now texted and called me on Tuesday. And she said she wanted to schedule some time to chat. And I happened to be I was at the eye doctor and I said, great, I'll talk to you tomorrow. We actually ended up speaking that night because she's in Los Angeles, so the time zone was 3 hours. So what felt like 8 o'clock for me was only like 5 o'clock for her, obviously. And she said she had read my application, thought I was really a great candidate for the show, and wanted to schedule another interview with me. So this one was like, I need to ask you those like questionnaire kind of things, like, are you married, your demographics, do you have an open like felony charge against you? Basic stuff on a job application, kind of like round one, if you will. And I made it to the next round. And then that Friday, I had a 45-minute interview. And before this, they sent all of this stuff about how to present yourself on camera, what your background should look like, what you should wear, and what you should be prepared to talk about, which thankfully I run a YouTube channel, so I'm probably more comfortable being on camera. While not always eloquent, I am comfortable being on camera. I also work remotely for my regular 9 to 5, so I live within that little Zoom box. And they said specifically to wear a color that popped. I took the day off. I ran to see my hairstylist who blew out my hair, made sure the purple really popped. I actually had gotten my teeth whitened that morning, which was just coincidence, honestly. I just had gotten a Groupon and really wanted to see it. And maybe no one can see a difference, but I personally can, which is all I wanted. It makes me happy. I didn't want to have neon white teeth, but I am an avid coffee drinker, so I had noticed a couple stains that I wanted removed. I digress. So then stage This is stage 3. This is the official interview. They record the interview, and it's again with Jill's boss. And she asks me a multitude of questions, some personal, like tell me about your family, tell me about your husband, tell me what you do for fun, which was fun because she read my application, and at one point, my dad did come up. I mean, my dad was and is an important part of my life, and it was hard to talk about him passing and like what that's meant for me and where my ambition comes from. But then we shook it out. I really appreciated this interviewer. I have to say that it's very easy to box someone in to talk about just sad things, and because it would make for good TV. She only asked 2 questions about my dad, and then she said, okay, we're gonna shake it out. We're gonna move on and tell me about powerlifting, which if you guys don't know, I am a competitive powerlifter. I have been training for 6 years. I actually compete the day after this video comes out, which is kind of cool. And I'll tell you guys about that in an upcoming video, how I did. She records the whole thing, 45 minutes, and it was, I think, a pretty good conversation. I am not a multi-million-dollar small business. I'm only in year 2. I've made less than $50,000. I mean, I still have a full-time job, which is why this is my side hustle, because I haven't made enough money to pay myself a salary. So I'm nervous, but it was really exciting. And again, it's a startup competition, like an entrepreneurship competition for people in the food and beverage space. The winner gets a $1 million investment from the host, and not just the host, but from like this show. The prize is a $1 million investment. So she asked me questions like, what would you do with this prize money? What do you want to do? And I was talking all about Read It and Eat. So if you're new to my channel, Read It and Eat is a quarterly subscription box on a mission to support small businesses and fight hunger. Each quarter of the box is themed around a item or food topic. So in that box, you will always get a gently used food writing book, 2 to 3 foodie delicious items, yes, things you get to eat that come from small businesses within the United States, and $5 from each of your purchases is used to fight hunger here in Western New York, where I live. I take that money and work with different nonprofits throughout the year to make sure we can keep food pantries stocked so those who are in need have access to food. So it was really exciting to talk about my business. It was really exciting to just even feel recognized. So we finish this step 3. And then over the weekend, I get the final step, which is I need you to film some day in the life, behind the scenes footage. Do you have pictures of your family, of your powerlifting, of your ballroom dancing? They wanted something like 40 images and I think about 20 minutes of additional raw footage. And I spent the weekend frantically running around getting that done. And then I bundled it together and shipped it off into the ethos. And I will find out in about 4 weeks if I make it onto the show. And from there, it's 8 weeks of filming where I'll be completely off the grid. You won't see me on social media anywhere. They'll take my phone away. Like you go into a black hole, essentially. So I don't know yet if I got on. That's why I'm not using any names. And honestly, I have no idea what the chances of me even getting on the show is. Part of me is like, well, they interviewed you. That's gotta mean something. And then they interviewed you again. That's gotta mean something, right? So I don't know if my chances are 50-50. I don't know if my chances are 1 in a million, but I had to tell you guys about it because I was just so excited and validated. So as I was saying, and sorry if the camera angle probably changed just slightly, it's super validating to even get this far in an interview for what would be like a nationwide television show. It would be, sorry, my drink's down there. This show would be on Fox Network. Like if I could even get on the show, the level of visibility for a small business owner, it'd be amazing. So I'm really excited. And like I mentioned, I am still crowdfunding. There are, when this goes live, 38 more days left in the crowdfunding campaign. There are multiple exclusive Read It and Eat boxes you can only get by crowdfunding, including a charcuterie box, a truffle box, and a wine box that comes with a sparkling winemaking kit inside of it. Right now, I'm shipping to the US and Canada, and I know how to do that confidently. If you want to donate and you are from another part of the world, I definitely can work with you and make sure that your donation reward makes it to your front door. You're just gonna have to give me a little bit longer of a lead time for things to travel because I have seen how delayed shipping is right now in the States. So yeah, that was a little bit of a channel update and what I'm up to. I find out about the show in March. I'm still crowdfunding. Please consider donating. Any dollar amount counts or is very helpful. Or if you're not in a place financially to donate, please just help signal boost, like tell the world about it, and it would be super helpful. So now let me tell you what I read this week. I just finished, it took me a lot longer than I thought, but I just finished the book Epicurean Delight, The Life and Time of James Beard. This is James Beard's biography, and it is the first in my series of reading the James Beard award-winning books from the 1990s. If you haven't seen that video, I am on a mission to read all of the James Beard award-winning books in the food writing space, starting with 1991, which was the first year, thus the James Beard biography. I will have a whole separate video coming out probably Tuesday all about that book, so I don't want to go into too much detail. It was published in 1990. It came in just under 300 pages and is a little bit of a thick book. Here it is, sorry. So I just finished this book. I'm still processing it. I'm going to probably film my full thoughts tomorrow. So the book that I got from NetGalley, which thank you NetGalley, I got an e-arc or a PDF of it, is Chef's Kiss by Jarrett Melendez. And it is an illustrated comic book. So you could probably call this a graphic novel. And this is an LGBTQIA plus queer-friendly book. It's Publishers Weekly describes it as a perfect mix of romance and self-discovery. And it's definitely, I think the genre is now called new adult, which is, or new age. Our protagonist has just graduated from college with an English lit degree and is having a hard time finding a job. And when he goes through multiple interviews and gets given the same thing of you need more experience and finds himself in the catch-22 of how do I get experience if you need experience, he takes a job at a local cafe to help get by and pay the bills. And on his way, he is put through a bunch of culinary challenges while harboring a crush on his coworker at the cafe. This was a super cute book, 125 pages in the PDF, I think. Didn't take that long to read. It was a very sweet graphic novel. If it is the first volume in a series, I would definitely be willing to read more. If it's a standalone book, which I couldn't get a clear indication of, I thought that the secondary characters really suffered from a lack of character development. We were introduced to probably 8 different additional supporting characters, and his parents are just assholes. But we just didn't get a lot of development from anybody other than the protagonist. I would say that the romance is secondary. This is definitely about self-discovery and self-acceptance, and I really appreciated it about the book. I actually graduated back in 2012 with an English lit degree and a cinema degree, so film. I know what it's like to need experience, but you can't get experience until you have experience. I remember that whole cycle, so I definitely related to our protagonist. I thought the food scenes were wonderful and delicious, and there was a lot of queer representation in this graphic novel, and I thought that was a real delight to see, and I'm always working to diversify my reading, so I really liked it. I will link to the Barnes & Nobles or the bookshop.org of the book. It should be coming out next week, actually the second week of February. So it is a 2022 recent release. So that is really what I read this week. That James Beard book kicked my butt. I've also been on set virtually for a photo shoot for work all week and have just been really finding it hard to read right now. I wouldn't say I'm in a reading slump. There's just not enough hours in the day to get through what I need to get through. Plus, my powerlifting competition is this weekend. So I hope you're okay with just hearing about 2 books. And again, the James Beard full review will be up on my channel later this coming week. If you haven't already, I would love for you to hit like and subscribe and join my foodie bookish community. I'll also have links in the description below so where you can find me anywhere else on the internet, including Storygraph and Instagram. And if you are interested in donating to the Read It and Eat crowdfunding campaign, all the information's down there as well. I hope you're well.